Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, unidentified man fatally shot by licensed firearm holder in St. Anne. An unidentified man was fatally shot by a licensed firearm holder in Claremont, St. Anne on Sunday night. Reports from the St. Anne police are that about 11:15 p.m., two men got into an altercation. Lawmen say the licensed firearm holder was reportedly attacked with a pair of scissors. It is reported that the licensed firearm holder then shot and wounded the unidentified man. The police were summoned and the man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Unidentified man shot and killed in Spanish Town. The Spanish Town police in St. Catherine are trying to ascertain the identity of a man who was shot and killed by unknown assailants on Sunday. About 3:30 p.m. on Sunday, the police were summoned to Gulf Heights in Gordon Penn, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. On their arrival, the man's body was found with what appeared to be gunshot wounds. The body was clad in a red and white merino and gray shorts and measured about 5 feet and 11 inches. The Spanish Town Criminal Investigations Branch is conducting the probe into the matter. Cops charge alleged West Kingston gang leader. The alleged leader of the notorious Bentley Lane gang in Rosetown, Kingston 13, has been arrested and charged by the Kingston Western Police. The accused 37-year-old Nevada Lyons, otherwise called Guanbad, from Bentley Lane, has been charged with being the leader of a criminal organization and participating in a criminal organization. Lyons was said to have been in charge of the gang between November 2020 and August 2024. The police alleged that the accused, during the mentioned period, exercised control over the gang as its leader and had total control of the Bentley Lane community. During the period, the police said, Lyons decided who lived where in the community and used his authority to relocate residents based on their loyalty to the gang and their utility to its operation. It is alleged that the gang used the threats of violence to install fear and to ensure compliance. It is further alleged that the accused often ordered gang members to beat or discipline individuals who violated the clique's rules in the community. The police have already charged the Lyons for a double murder that occurred around midnight on Sunday, October 22, 2023, along Duff Street in Rosetown. During that incident, the police said Charles Davis and Maurice Williams were shot dead by 3 members of the gang. This incident is said to have been a reprisal for the killing of one of the gang's members. The police said Lyons was charged based on witness statements implicating him and after an interview in the presence of his attorney. Trelawney farmer charged for fatally stabbing man over money granted $650,000 bail. A Trelawney farmer who reportedly fatally stabbed a man who allegedly owed him $5,000 was granted $650,000 bail when he appeared in the Trelawney Parish Court. The 24-year-old accused Onika Small, otherwise called OJ, of Higgs Settlement in Falmouth, was offered bail on Friday by Parish Judge Archer Hall. Small is charged with murder in relation to the August 14 death of 35-year-old Conroy Bromwell, otherwise called Smokey, of Spring Hill, Stuart Castle, Duncans, Trelawney. According to reports, on the day in question, about 11:15 p.m., Small was walking in the town when a dispute arose with Bromwell, who he had loaned money. The argument escalated into a physical altercation, during which Small allegedly stabbed Bromwell with a pair of scissors. The police were summoned and on arrival, Bromwell was transported to hospital where he was treated. Bromwell succumbed to his injuries 3 days later. Small, who had turned himself into the police, was subsequently arrested and charged. The accused is scheduled to return to court on October 23. PNP congratulates Dr. Clark on IMF post but questions if move is abandonment of sinking ship. The opposition People's National Party, while congratulating Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark on his appointment as a Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, is questioning whether or not his move signals the abandonment of what it calls a sinking ship with unresolved issues. Noting that the prestigious role is a notable achievement for Jamaica on the global stage, the PNP said the development raises significant concerns about the future of Jamaica's economic management and leadership. Dr. Clark's departure comes at a critical juncture for our country as we face serious economic challenges, including the spiraling cost of living and the negative growth impact of the recent hurricane. The timing of Dr. Clark's departure also brings into question the government's ability and a commitment to addressing the ongoing economic burdens facing the Jamaican people, the party said in a statement on Monday. Dr. Clark's new post will become effective October 31, 2024. While making the announcement, Prime Minister Andrew Holness noted that he had already identified successors to Dr. Clark in both his ministerial and parliamentary responsibilities. Shortly after, three-term councillor for the Chancery Hall Division, Dwayne Smith, was revealed as Dr. Clark's successor as the Jamaica Labour Party representative for the St. Andrew Northwestern constituency. The PNP urged the government to provide immediate clarity on the transition plan for the Ministry of Finance, how it intends to manage the current economic pressures, and what strategies will be employed to mitigate the impact on the most vulnerable in our society. The PNP said it stands ready to work constructively in the national interest to ensure that Jamaica navigates these challenging times and remains committed to advocating for economic policies that prioritize inclusive and sustainable economic growth and the well-being of all Jamaicans. Opposition says a timely garbage collection needed in fight against the Mpox. The parliamentary opposition says timely garbage collection will be necessary in the fight against the Mpox as the disease can be spread through rodents. The World Health Organization declared that the outbreak of Mpox in parts of Africa was a public health emergency of international concern. At least 450 people died during an initial outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and the disease has since spread to areas of Central and East Africa. The Ministry of Health says there is anticipated risk given that the country's borders remain open even as it makes a preparation to combat the disease. Junior Shadow spokesperson for Health and Wellness, Jesse James Clark, says rodents around the house can serve as a transmitter for the disease. He is calling for the government to educate the public about the disease and to make a greater effort to address the garbage collection.
So we have to ensure that our environment is clean and that we have timely garbage collection, which has been a problem for us in recent times where the garbage collection is not as timely as it should be, but that has to be a critical part in our fight against the monkeypox outbreak that we are going to possibly face. Rodents can serve as a vector for the monkeypox virus, so we want to ensure that we eliminate them or reduce their population in our environment as close as possible. And you find that most times persons normally get disease from these rodents that are in close proximity to their environment, so around their house. So we want to ensure that the garbage is stored properly and it's collected in a timely manner. That is going to be a critical part in preventing an outbreak here locally. When persons are isolated for suspected to have the disease or we're waiting for confirmation that they do actually have the disease, that isolation period, we want to ensure that is strictly adhered to. We had seen in the past where persons who were supposed to be in isolation happened to leave the hospital or leave the area that they were in isolation. So we want to ensure that proper isolation areas are created for them before we actually have another case of monkeypox here locally. That is one concern. The next concern is also to ensure security of our borders in terms of monitoring the persons coming in for symptoms of monkeypox or Mpox as it's now being called. So in terms of looking out for those lesions, fever, and so on, we want that screening, especially for persons who have a history of traveling to countries that are heavily affected with monkeypox.
Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.